Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight is an Oscar-winning actress who is starring in the CBS comedy Inc., along with her husband, Ted Danson. Please welcome back to our show, Mary Steenburgen. Thanks for having you with us again. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
How are you? Everything's
great.
Things are going very well. The show premiered the other night, and it did great. Your show, Inc.
It did really, really great, and we couldn't believe it. We went to bed that night thinking we're really proud of what we did, and we put it out there finally. And it's up against the World Series, fires in Los Angeles, and so if it's anything at all, we'll be happy. And so we expected nothing, and we woke up to just incredible, incredible numbers.
Yeah, a lot of people watch the show, a very good sign. And especially, this is all ironic, in the face of so many people in the media were talking about the show beforehand, being in, having troubles, there's difficulty putting it together. And they create such kind of a negative buzz. I was wondering, was there one moment in those months before you're doing the show when you really felt nervous about things?
There were about 1 million moments that we felt nervous. It was scary, because we wanted to do a great show, and we knew that it wasn't the way we were going. It just wasn't the right setup, and so we started all over again, and now we're really proud of it. And it's a great group of actors. We have wonderful actors around us, and it's just a lot of fun now.
Yeah, was everyone behind the scenes, were the producers pretty calm the whole time?
Well,
because they've actually, the people in charge there, they have to exude calm in a situation like that.
Well, Diane English was so calm.
She's pretty famous. For anyone who doesn't know, Diane English, a very famous creative Murphy Brown.
And she came on to help us with this show and to take it over, and we had this very sort of high-powered meeting. We flew back to California. We were on vacation, and there's Jeff Katzenberg, the head of our network, and all these people in a meeting, and here's Diane English, and she came in, and I had met her once before. She was very gregarious and everything. I came in, and she was like rolling around like this, and she was like, I'd ask her a question, she would answer, and then she was like this, and I kept thinking, what is wrong with her, and do I actually want to work with this woman? And we talked about it later, and I said, what was going on in that meeting? And she said she laid out her vitamins that morning to take all her vitamins, and she hadn't realized that in her nervousness that she had taken her dog's tranquilizer, that he had like, it was like a skin condition, and they'd given it a tranquilizer, and she was on doggy tranks. And
that's great.
And she realized, she didn't want to say, but she knew.
Oh, my God. And then later the dog showed up at the meeting and was like, ho, ho, ho,
ho. I got to show you.
We're like, we've got to calm that dog down. Now, what about, I would think working with your husband on a TV show. Fortunately, Andy and I, are not married, but working with your husband, we talked about
married, but not to him.
Yeah, not to me. But working with your husband on a TV show, does that, how does that affect your relationship at all? You're in pretty close quarters here with Ted Danson.
Yeah, well, luckily he makes me laugh, so that's good. But we drive to work together in the morning, and we get to the CBS parking lot. Oops. The other network parking lot. Then we say...
I can accept that there are other networks.
Okay, good. And,
don't ever mention one again!
And then we kiss each other goodbye in the parking lot, and we say, have a nice day, have a nice day. We go in the same door, and it's every man for himself, because from then on we're playing two people who are divorced, and I'm his boss. So
there's supposed to be some friction there.
And there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything that might go wrong in our marriage, we're actually getting rid of it on this television show, so there'll be no problem whatsoever. That's how I see it.
I have one question about working with Ted Danson, which is, I've noticed that they rerun Cheers all the time. It's constantly running on TV. You must have found the situation where you're just, you're making an omelet and there's a TV on in the background and Cheers comes on. What is that like? Do you ask him about episodes?
I love Cheers. I was a big Cheers fan always. I always loved it. And, he never remembers any of the episodes. Like, I'll say, what happens next? You know, I might want to go to sleep now because it's really late, so just tell me what happens. He never remembers. He doesn't, they did so many of them.
Does he know who the characters are?
Yeah.
Does, like, Woody come in and he's like, I don't know who that is?
No, he does remember.
This could be a serious sign of a problem.
What is that in George Wendt's hair, you know? There's, like, white things in George's hair, and Norm's hair in this scene. And he said those are spitballs that Woody and I were shooting at him from behind the bar. I mean, they got so infantile on the show because they were doing it for so long. They were like doing spitball. They should run
a version of Cheers where Ted Danson's in a little inset box explaining all this.
The whole
for the real
thing. I know. So you'd have the same benefits I have.
Now this is not. You were doing a sitcom now, but this is. You actually started out in comedy. Is that right? You had some. In the very beginning, you started out in comedy.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. When I won an Oscar years ago, that was for a comedy for Melvin and Howard. So
That's right.
Comedy.
But I'm going way back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're like you were in some kind of a troupe of some kind.
Yeah,
is that right?
It was here in New York, and it was called Crack Tokens, and it was there were 5 of us, and we had a friend at the Bureau of Alcoholism, and we went to him and we said, is there any way we could do shows for anybody that you know of? And he said, yeah, for the people drying out in these halfway houses, you can come do little comedy shows. So we did these little comedy shows for people, you know, in Bedford-Stuyvesant and the Bowery, all over New York, and there are these people who are trying to dry out, you know, and all
that sounds like a tough audience.
You've done improv. You've done all they wanted to see.
And I know about tough audiences, but
all they wanted to see was what they knew, which is everyone goes 2 drunks on a street corner every time. That's all they wanted to see, what they were experiencing. So
right.
I got very good at being drunk.
Playing that, they actually wanted to see that as comedy?
Absolutely.
That's so strange. You'd think they'd want to see anything but.
Anything but that's always what we got, was they wanted to see people drunk. I don't know. I think it made them feel better or something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, look at that slob. All right, well, good Lord. Well, Inc. is doing very well. It's Mondays at 8:30.
Yes.
On CBS.
It's so much fun.
Well, congratulations with that. And come back, visit us again.
Okay.
Thanks so much for coming.
All righty.
Mary Steenburgen, everybody. Ray Romano, John Favreau coming up. We'll be right back. Stick around.